Welcome to discussion today with Nick and I. We're going to be talking about the Independent Reserve's OTC desk. We'll talk a little bit about the operations and how you can get involved with it if you feel that that's what you need. Yeah. So we're going to cover off today, I guess, a number of questions that we typically get asked, and hopefully this is going to be helpful to everyone out there. Let's start with the basics around, what is it, how does it operate, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how the desk actually works, and I guess a few of the sort of common questions that we get about it. All right, we've got to start from the beginning. What is an OTC desk, Nick?
Well, let's start right at the top. What is OTC even? It's not OCT. It's an acronym, stands for over the counter. So this is something that sort of exists in traditional markets. It's not crypto specific. And basically it's a way to trade directly with the counterparty. So in a typical exchange trading environment, you're trading on an open order book. You can kind of see all the other trades available for you to trade with. With an OTC desk, you're trading with a specific person or a specific entity rather, and you're getting pricing directly from them. What is an OTC desk for? Well, generally it's for larger trades because it allows you to avoid slippage, allows you to trade privately, allows you to sort of get a white glove service for your trades.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way I always categorize it is instead of trading with, I guess, all the users on our platform, when you're trading OTC, you're trading directly with Independent Reserve. Yeah. With the real benefit being that we can give you an all-inclusive price for the full parcel that you're looking to trade, regardless of the size. So we probably need to quickly touch off on what is slippage then and how OTC helps prevent slippage.
Yeah, okay. So to understand slippage, you kind of need to understand an order book. Essentially, an order book is a list of orders. The best order is at the top, the worst order is at the bottom. When you're making a trade, you're hitting the best order always. The order book will always make you hit the best order possible. But the problem is if the order isn't big enough for your order, you're going to complete that order and then you're going to move on to the next order, which is going to have a slightly worse price, and you're going to keep doing this until your order is complete. As you can probably imagine, as the price gets worse and worse, you're getting filled at a worse and worse price until the average price is somewhere in the middle between the best price and the worst price. This is kind of an unknown for a lot of traders. It's not a great way to trade if you're doing large trades because you end up getting this average price, which is sort of unknown at the beginning of the trade. And that's where OTC desk steps in. So basically you come to an OTC desk, you say, hey, give me a price for this coin. We can give you an all-in price that has no slippage issues. So the entire parcel of your trade will be done at the price we offer for you.
And I guess the question then becomes, for which tokens at which price does it make sense to use the OTC desk?
Yeah.
And for heavily traded tokens where there's a lot of liquidity on the exchange, for example, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, for these tokens, I guess where it makes sense, where you may end up getting some slippage is where you're looking for an individual trade in excess of say 250,000 to 500,000. For more, for other altcoins, that price point at which it makes sense may be lower. And so from the desk's point of view, I guess the minimum technical limit for an OTC trade is 50,000, but realistically for those heavily traded tokens, the point at which it makes sense to use the OTC desk versus an order book, maybe around 250,000. But for more thinly traded tokens outside of those major tokens, maybe 50 to 100,000 is the price point.
Yeah, and this is something we would definitely discuss with you. So don't feel like you have to take what we're saying here in the video as gospel. Please come and talk to your account manager. We'll figure out what the best way to do it is. And we'll always, our goal here is to get you the best price possible. So we're gonna let you know, look, if you're comfortable on the order book, it makes sense to use the order book. If it's a large trade where price slippage is going to become a factor, then the OTC desk is the way to go, and we'll help guide you through that process.
Yeah. And for upper bounds of trades, have you yet to come across a trade size that we're not able to fulfill?
No, we haven't. So generally there's different sort of tactics you can use when making these larger trades. If we're talking, just to sort of give rough ballparks, if we're talking in the millions, that's usually not a problem. We do $1 million trades every day. If you're talking sort of tens of millions and higher than that, often we'll want to discuss with you the best sort of strategy for that kind of trade. So it may be that we break it up into tranches. It may be that we offer a TWAP kind of situation where we, instead of giving you an all-in price, we might just start buying for you or selling for you the token at regular intervals over a number of days or weeks. It all just depends on the liquidity, the type of token, and what the markets are showing at that time.
Yeah, exactly. And so, of course, the next natural question everyone wants to know is, how do I get in touch with the OTC desk?
Yeah. So I mean, you're the expert here. How do I get in touch with you, Lee?
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you've got an existing relationship with the relationship manager, of course, reach out to them. But for any existing users or even new users who don't yet use the platform, the best way to get in touch is via the OTC page on our website. And the team will get back to you typically within hours for working days.
Yeah. Okay. So, and what does it look like? So, if we sort of go from start to finish there, in terms of contact, what do the sales team do?
Yeah, exactly. So the sales team's there to really help you through that process. If you're an existing customer, they'll help you on board with the OTC desk. And if you're a new customer, of course, they're more than happy to talk through using Independent Reserve and how to onboard with Independent Reserve as well. But once you are verified, once you have an account that is verified on Independent Reserve, the sales team typically need to set you up, will always need to set you up with a direct line of communication with the OTC desk. So for many users, they'll be familiar with trading on an order book, but when we're trading via OTC, because we're trading with you directly, we need to set up a direct line of communication. That's typically through an instant messenger group where you're in the group, a private group with yourself and the guys on the OTC desk, such that they can give you a price that when you're ready to trade, you can execute on.
Yeah, okay, good. Now, this is a question we get all the time. How do the fees work on Independent Reserve's OTC desk?
So the key thing to remember when trading OTC is there's no brokerage. We're trading with you directly. So we're giving you one all-inclusive price for the full parcel that you're looking to trade. So that means that the price we give you is inclusive of any fees and charges, and the price that we give you is the ultimate walkaway price that you'll receive.
Yeah, cool.
And how do we source, I guess, the price that we give you? I guess this is another key benefit of using OTC is that Independent Reserve through its network has access to global liquidity that individuals do not have. And the way we source pricing for our customers is effectively we reach out to a panel of our liquidity providers or trading partners, and we source the best quote and we pass that on to our users.
Yeah, okay. So something to know here as well is that we'll often be able to find axed liquidity providers and OTC desks, which provide us with better than apparent marketing pricing, which is sort of the benefit of having this large network of liquidity providers and OTC desks. Whenever we can get that for customers, it's happy days. We'll always pass that price on to them. Yep. But it's all just about what the market's doing, how volatile is it, is it, and the coin as well. Like, is it a large market cap coin or is it a brand new coin that's just been minted? Yeah. It all depends, and it's very specific on the time and the coin.
Yep, and the market conditions. But it's a great point that you mentioned. Technically speaking, the order book market and the OTC market are different markets. And so it's very common that a lot of people will come to the OTC desk thinking that they might necessarily get a better price. But that's not always the case, because as you just mentioned, we're trading with a number of wholesale market liquidity providers, and the price may be better, it may be worse. But the real benefit to keep in mind is that we're going to eliminate the threat of slippage in that trade.
Yeah. The whole concept of a discount on pricing is something that we get quite often brought up to us, and unfortunately, it's just not the case. There's no magic discount. We don't have sort of a secret pool of Bitcoin that we can sell for cheaper. We're interacting in the same market as everyone else, but the difference is we have much deeper pools to interact with. Yep. And often for the large parcel trades, that provides a massive benefit to the customer.
So settlement times for trading OTC, is it instant or does it take a bit longer?
Yeah, good question. So that, I guess, is one of the advantages of using an order book, is that settlement time is instant on the order book. When your order is matched, the money's in your Independent Reserve account. So for OTC, it's a bit different. We have to work with our liquidity providers on settlement. Usually it takes sort of maybe half an hour to settle normal trades, depending on the coin again. If it's a lower capped coin or less used coin, there might be some extra steps we have to go through. Sometimes it can be up to T+1, as in the next business day for settlement, but for the most part, it's same day. Yeah.
And the trading experience itself, what's it look and feel like from a user?
Yeah, so once the sales team have set up this private group for you, you'll basically be in there. There's usually about 5 or 6 other people in there, which are all from Independent Reserve, all there to help facilitate the trades. What we're doing is waiting for instruction from you. So as a client of the OTC desk, you would request a quote. So maybe you'd put in there, I'm looking to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin. Then we would come up with a quote for you. So we put in a detailed quote that tells you what you're sending, what you're receiving, what the price is. And that's an all-in quote, as we discussed before. So what what the numbers in our quote are what you would walk away with. The quotes are live for about 10 seconds. Just depends on how volatile the market is. We'll always let you know how it works. But in terms of the mechanics of the quoting and agreeing process, what'll happen is you'll request a quote. We'll place the quote in the chat group. You can agree or disagree with the quote. If you agree, we then have to agree a second time. And once we've confirmed your agreeance, it's done. Quote's locked in, price is done. And the clock kind of starts from there. So usually it's within about 30 minutes that you'll actually get settled on the trade.
Is the OTC desk available 24/7?
Yeah, we're not available 24/7 at the moment. This is definitely something we're working towards. We get this question a lot, and a lot of people are looking to do these sort of trades all day, all night. At the moment, we're available in Sydney time, 9 a.m. till 9 p.m, which works out in Singapore to be about 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. During daylight savings, that changes for Singapore. But at the moment, yeah, for non-daylight savings time in Sydney, it's 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Singapore time. But we're looking to actually extend the hours soon. So hopefully there'll be some good news there.
Excellent. Yeah, and you know there are a number of OTC desks that are available for Australian users, and you know at Independent Reserve, you know a couple of the features that really we think set us apart is our access to global markets and our access to a panel of liquidity providers. There are a lot of OTC desks which may only trade with say one or two liquidity providers. Independent Reserve, given its global reach, has access to pretty much every major liquidity venue.
Another question we get, obviously people are looking to get best pricing possible. How do we compare to our competitors?
Look, I think when you're judging OTC desks, there's a number of things you can look at in terms of the pricing, the settlement times, and the service. And people are free to talk to whoever they would like. I think when you get down to it, the key thing is to have a good relationship with the OTC desk and ask for quotes. At the end of the day, Independent Reserve, given its global reach, has access to pretty much all the major liquidity venues, in crypto, which is something that I don't think any of our competitors can really say. They may have one or two venues, where given the breadth of venues that we trade with and our network means that we can typically find the best price in the market.
When people come to us, they're often, they're putting the feelers out, trying to figure out if they're the right type of entity, type of person, type of company to come and get OTC. A lot of people sort of don't understand what, does it even make sense for them to use it? How do you kind of answer those kind of questions?
Well, I think the priorities for the different market participants is different. So if you look at commodity traders, for example, they'll be doing a lot of, say, on-ramping and off-ramping through stablecoins. So they'll do huge volumes and they want tight pricing, they want fast settlement. And so stablecoins are typically a very easy coin for us to trade. We see them come in and out, so we can axe up a lot of pricing for it. And we can do settlement in large volumes really quickly. So for that segment, OTC makes a lot of sense because they want an all-inclusive price, they want it fast, and they want to be able to draw it or send it quickly. SMSFs, for example, are slightly a little bit differently. They don't tend to trade stable coins, they'll trade large amounts of Bitcoin. So they'll come in with a large order, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 worth of Bitcoin at one time, and they just want to make life easy for them. So the OTC with the white glove aspect to it makes life very easy for them. They don't have to sit there and work an order or worry about the movement of the market or worrying about getting an average price. They can just come to the OTC desk, get one price, be done with the trade. If we look at, that's also very true for high net wealths and trusts who are just looking to buy a long-term position in a particular token. And maybe it's not Bitcoin, maybe it's an altcoin where the liquidity is thinner and they don't want to have to manage orders. They can just come through and buy one tranche. Same thing for Web3 businesses. Web3 businesses tend to have, I guess, their day-to-day operations rely on moving money in and out of crypto. And again, for them, getting that all-inclusive price is very important. They usually have a finance manager or a business, their finance, CFO, and they'll come to us and they'll want to know that they have the right amount that they can use then to pay their bills or pay their staff. Okay, well, look, I mean, we often get inquiries from, advisors who manage family office money, for example, reaching out to the OTC desk as well. And for those particular customers, what they're really looking for is a good relationship, someone to actually manage and process the trades on their behalf. So actually having that white glove service, in addition to some of the features of the OTC desk, is really beneficial to them.
We've recently been getting companies coming and looking to add Bitcoin to their treasury. Can we talk about that? How does that look?
Absolutely, that has been on the rise, and again, a lot like, say, the SMSFs and some of those family offices. What they're looking for is a desk that can work with them to make sure they're executing in the best way. From our point of view, like I said, we don't mind if customers trade via the order book or via the OTC desk, and these treasury companies, they need to be able to make sure they can go back to their board or their shareholders and say, look, we have made sure that we have executed that allowed us to get the best value for our trade.
Yeah, I think also it's a lot of these companies aren't looking for the messiness of an order book and an order book trade where you get multiple trades within an order, etc., etc. With the OTC desk and this, the all-in price, you get a single trade, you get a single confirmation, and that's it. It's so clean on the books. It just makes a lot of sense, from an administrative point of view.
Yep. Thanks for running through that, Nick. We covered off a lot of stuff, and hopefully for everyone who's listening in, that gives you a good understanding of the mechanics and understanding of when you should consider using the OTC desk. Now, to get in touch with us, there's a number of ways. The best way is via our website, via the OTC page, but also the links in this video. Until next time, happy trading.